Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the NBA Front Office Show. It's Friday. You know what that means.
Front Office Friday! It's the playoffs edition.
It's the playoffs edition. Let's go. The playoffs are here. The play-in tournament has been awesome. It's been an incredible appetizer for the NBA playoffs, but the playoffs officially kick off tomorrow. We have the final games of the play-in tournament tonight. A lot going on around the NBA. Quick reminder, if you haven't done so yet, double check right now. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it at this point. If you're not subscribed, turn on those notifications and then give us that thumbs up as well. So as always, the Friday show, it is your show. You guys fire your questions, your comments at us, and you'll determine which direction this show goes in. Keith, I guess let's start here. Keith, your Clippers got eliminated.
Yeah, my Clippers. He followed up with question for Keith: what makes you believe in the Clippers year after year? Well, one, I'm an idiot, so let's just establish that as the baseline. I've bought into the talent, but I'm done. I said I was done. I wasn't believing in them anymore, and I'm out. I don't care what they do. They could sign in trade for the entire MVP group: Wemby, Jokic, SGA, Cade, and Luka, and that could be their starting group next year. And I'm not picking them. I'm done. I'm over it. No more Clippers for me. See you later. I'm finished.
How much of that game, by the way, for anybody who was not aware, the Warriors went on a 43-point explosion in the fourth quarter to eliminate the Clippers in the 9-10 matchup the other night. How much of that fourth quarter was the Clippers face planting versus the Warriors just absolutely going nuclear?
50-50.
Yep.
I think it was, Draymond Green's defense on Kawhi all game long, but especially in that fourth quarter,
2 points
was
in the quarter.
And Kawhi didn't even score those on Draymond. He only got off 2 shots in the fourth quarter, and neither of them came with Draymond guarding him. When Draymond guarded him, he didn't even get shots off. Incredible, right? And Kawhi was like, that's why he is, Draymond, and gave him all the credit in the world after that. But but I would say equal parts. Like, the Clippers roster is not great behind Kawhi now, right? Like, it's still developing. They're still trying to figure stuff out. The Darius Garland trade, the early returns are not good. We'll still obviously give that plenty of time. But the Warriors, they went crazy. And Steph it was cool to see Steph and Draymond. Then obviously there's bias in here for me, but Porzingis and Horford have big nights. Like, Horford looked awful and like he should have retired after the game early. Then it's all of a sudden he's like, all right, we need to win. Let me just start banging 3-pointers.
4 for 4 from deep in the fourth for
unbelievable.
Al Horford. He was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So now the Clippers are eliminated, and because the Clippers are eliminated, Keith, that means there is a non-0% chance that, well, the Thunder will have a lottery pick, but a non-0% chance that the Thunder could move up into the top 4.
Yeah, awesome.
Great job, Clippers.
Cool.
Ruining it for everybody.
Well, and I saw some people that have been saying, like, well, the Clippers should hope the Thunder do that because then that would push the Pacers pick back, and at least they would get a pick. But it's like I don't know. No one should be rooting for that unless you're a Thunder fan. Then I get it. But if you're not a Thunder fan, no.
That would be terrible for the league.
Yeah.
For the NBA, that would be terrible. Freeze that envelope, Adam Silver. Come on. All right, let's go here. In restricted free agency, if a team offers a player a front-loaded contract, is the original team required to match the same structure or only the total contract value?
Yeah. Outside of one specific situation, which I'll talk about in a second, you have to match exactly the terms of the contract as written. So number of years, salary, and salary payout structure. So whether that is your standard going up contract, if it's a declining contract that's front loaded, if it's flat. There's also the actual payment structure, which has been a thing that teams are starting to put in when they do an offer sheet now, which includes like you're going to get half your salary paid to you on the first day of the season and those
Right.
kind of things. So you have to match the exact structure. The only time you don't have to do that is if it is it's funny. We use the term poison pill, and I'm going to use it right now, but that term actually doesn't exist in the CBA anywhere. And it gets used to cover two different things. One is the situation where a player has already signed a rookie scale deal extension, and like it's he's gonna make 40 million next year, but he makes 10 million this year. So then you take the average of all the years of the contract, and that's how you figure out what the trade value is. The other poison pill provision is it's when a player is an arenas free agent, which means he has 0 or 1 years of experience. There are, I guess, 1 or 2 years of experience because it's come after the season. In those, they allow you to pick what way you want to do it, but there's still guardrails. You can either match where it is low salary, then jumps very high and then high, or you can match where it is like flat all the way across. So if it's like 40 million, it would be like 8 million, 8.5 million, then jump up to like 16 and a half, or you could do 10 million across the board.
That's that balloon payment, but that's for a player with very little experience.
Yeah,
that wouldn't apply to the RFA summer.
Yeah, restricted free agent with 1 or 2 years, and it's so that teams who have those players have the ability to keep them without going over a hard cap or something like that. In an ideal world, there's still situations where that could happen, but it's very unlikely.
All right, let's jump to another question here. Rosemary says, are the Golden State Warriors being underestimated as an Austin Reaves competitor? So obviously we're talking about free agency here. Cap space wise, no, but we'd be talking about perhaps a sign-in trade, something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's
I don't see it as likely, but that would be if, let's say, suspending disbelief, that was determined to be something that they wanted to make happen, that would be the path to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they are. They're not they're far more of a LeBron competitor because with LeBron, there's a world where you could see LeBron saying, "All right, I'll take the non-taxpayer mid-level or the taxpayer or maybe even a minimum to go play with this veteran team, and then I'll do that." Reaves is not going to do that. Reaves is going to maximize his earnings this summer, and for the Warriors to put together any kind of contract that then the Lakers don't want to give Reaves themselves, or the Lakers are like, all right, fine, we'll help you acquire him. That's the other part. Because what would the Warriors be sending back to the Lakers that the Lakers would really want? Right. They don't have the ability to just sign him outright. So this would have to involve quite a bit of stuff going their way.
All right, let's jump to this one here. If they do have matching structure and the Lakers offer Payton Watson a descending contract starting at $35 million, should the Nuggets match that?
Yeah, so I ran the numbers on what that would look like. That would be a 4-year, $129.5 million contract is what the Lakers could offer, with $35 million starting salary, would end at 29.75. One that feels a little rich for me for Payton Watson. That's just a little high for where I would go with him. Now, but yeah,
with Lakers, any RFA though, you're going to have to overpay to get the incumbent 100%. Team to blink generally.
And yeah, I mean that could be one way you could, because the Nuggets fitting in an extra $35 million. Yeah, that'd be tough. I don't know exactly how they would be able to do that without saying, all right, fine, we're going deep into the tax and second apron and everything else. So I kind of think that's not where that would go. Here's the key thing with any kind of descending contract. You just have to make sure the last year is large enough that the player can extend off that if they outplay the contract.
Right.
So let's say Payton Watson pops and becomes a all-star throughout the course of that contract. You want to be able to extend him, and 29, call it 30 million. In that final year, you're probably okay.
And what would you be able to give him? 140%?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that gets you up around 45 million almost.
Okay.
Not bad. So
Now, the thing though is like if you're, and this is going to be the conversation with Walker Kessler, this is going to be the conversation with Watson. With there's a few RFAs this summer, but most of the time these teams are either going to just say, okay, we'll match it, and then if we're not comfortable with the contract, as long as we don't think it's a negative value, we can move the player later. So that could be a tricky spot. But also, I think this is where you need to have those conversations. If you're Payton Watson and you really want to get to the Lakers or to any other team, you're probably going to have the conversation with Denver. Hey, can we negotiate some type of a sign and trade so we're not going through this whole song and dance here of restricted free agency?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to be stuck with an offer sheet sitting out there. Because again, you'd have to do this right at the beginning of free agency. Then you're going to have to wait 5 days because you can't actually sign him to the offer sheet till the moratorium lifts. Then the Nuggets have a day to match it. And the Nuggets, by all accounts, would say, all right, cool. You wanted to play it this way? Then you're going to have to wait a whole day. So now let's say we're 6, really almost 7 days into free agency. Well, everything else will have pretty much gotten done. So now then let's say the Nuggets match it. Now the Lakers are like, wait, 35 out of our 50 million was going to Payton Watson. What do we do now?
Right.
Like that's why you're absolutely right. You would just go to them and say, hey, here's what we're willing to do. If the Nuggets are like, yeah, we're not going to do that, like it becomes a spot where it is like, all right, let's work out a sign and trade.
Ricardo said, who gives OKC, we appreciate the super chat, said, who gives OKC the bigger problem, Phoenix or Golden State? And I heard Phoenix losing gives OKC another lottery pick. Love the show. Go Spurs. Go. I guess first and foremost, who do I think would give OKC a bigger problem? I mean, it's hard to pick against Steph.
Yeah.
But so I guess I would go as Steph Heater could give them, bigger problems. But Phoenix stylistically is more the type of team that I think could create some challenges for OKC. And by some challenges, I mean maybe they don't lose by 30 every night. I don't mean like they would actually win the series, but I'm not, after seeing what Golden State did the other night, I'm not going to pick against the Warriors here. As far as so let's say the Suns were to lose tonight to Golden State, does that give another lottery pick to the Thunder?
No, it has nothing. The Suns pick has nothing to do with it. The Suns pick will go to Charlotte.
I swear I saw
there's a bunch of stuff tied up, but the Thunder are not involved.
There was something that maybe it was the Philly pick.
Yeah, they have the Philly pick.
Like if something happened, they could have had like a 10% shot because somebody else would have dropped in too. Maybe it was if Philly had lost.
Yeah. Yeah, so they could have absolutely, if Philly had lost, it would have gone to Philly's pick goes to OKC, but it could have also been a second lottery pick.
All right, another super chat said, what do you think Austin Reaves' next contract will be, and what is fair market value for him in your opinions? Obviously, this has been a big talking point in Lakers circles. I've reminded people that it doesn't matter what he gets this summer, that their spending power is going to be the same because they'll be working off of that cap hold. But for the future, it absolutely will matter, assuming he does not come back for the playoffs, which is the way I'm approaching this, that he will not come back, at least for the first round. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hopefully I am. But if Reaves is not back, you kind of get an incomplete season, right? Where you needed to see him really step up in the playoffs after having a rough go in the playoffs the last couple of years, and you're not going to get an opportunity to do that. So that's the unfortunate side. But what's fair market value? And then the bigger question is, who out there could give him more? Who's going to come in and get, like, if the Lakers say, hey, we'll give you 30 million, who's going to come in and say, hey, we're going to give you 41, we're going to give you the full max, let's go. And then the Lakers have a tough decision to make.
Yeah, that's the challenge. I don't think any of the cap space teams are going to do that, right? Brooklyn will have cap space. Doesn't make sense for them to do that with Austin Reaves. Chicago probably doesn't make sense. I mean, that kind of, hey, we'll see where the Bulls go with their front office. Like, that feels like a Bullsy move from the past, maybe. But that's not going to be where I think that'll go. So I think, barring something really unexpected here, we'll see Austin Reaves back with the Lakers. I've kind of like factoring in, we're probably not going to see him in the playoffs. There's been a lot of injuries this year. I'm like in between 35 been 40 million in like average annual value.
Mhm.
So for me, like 4 years, 150 million. So 37 and a half a year probably feels about right. Like less than the max, but still a pretty massive payday.
So, and when we're looking at this contract, one of the things to keep in mind is he's made it very, very clear he wants to stay with the Lakers, right? I mean, he's made that point many, many times. So for him to leave, it would require the Lakers to give him X and some other team gives him Y, and Y is a lot more than X. So that's where we know this is. If the money is right, then I don't see him leaving LA. And I also don't have any indication the Lakers are interested in losing him either. So JJ Castillo said, I feel like the play.
One other thing with Reaves before we move on. I could also see this be a situation where it is a couple different things could happen here. Get to the number. We'll figure out the structure later kind of situation. Also, I think there could be a spot with Reaves where it is, okay, I really wanted 40 million, but by taking 38 million or 35 million, we can now get player X too. Okay, that's like I don't know that he's going to squeeze the Lakers for every time he can get.
Agreed. This is literally the dude that spends his summers driving a beat up pickup truck and worrying about his golf clubs. All right, JJ Castillo said, feel like the playing games this year have been more competitive compared to most years. Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to the playing games being competitive because you've got two relatively evenly matched teams that are playing. Whereas, like, I was thinking about this the other day, Keith. We get the round one playoff game starting tomorrow. They're going to feel, in some of them anyway, are going to feel less interesting than the play-in games because when it's the 1-8 matchup or the 2-7 matchup, it's two teams that are not on the same level, right? Whereas the play-in games are largely teams that are on the same level, and they've produced some fantastic games. So I'm excited the playoffs are starting, but like the 1-8, 2-7 matchups just aren't, I think, aren't going to be as competitive as what we've now gotten used to over the last week here.
Yeah, and we didn't have any like team that fell backwards into the play-in this year. Like the teams that were there all wanted to be there. They all wanted to be in the playoffs too. So those teams were really battling all the way through to try to be playoff teams. So I'm with you that and they've been great. I think we're gonna get another couple good ones tonight. I am a little worried that if the Magic get off to a bad start, I think the building's going to turn on them, and that could just turn into the Hornets. If the Hornets are rolling, shooting the ball, and the Magic can't make shots, that one could turn into a blowout real quick.
Would Jamal Mosley make it to tomorrow as the coach of the Magic?
If they lose tonight?
No,
I think he's
immediately after the game. It would be
probably Saturday morning. The news breaks, but certainly by Monday.
Right now, Charlotte is a 3.5-point favorite, and Phoenix is a 3.5-point favorite for tonight's matchups. It's Hornets, Magic, and Warriors, Suns. So some really compelling games. I'm excited for those.
Pretty good chunk for Charlotte considering the road team, but that Magic team looks like they're dead men walking.
That's the one thing I could see. Like, dude, the Magic is this a point where they just break and they tap out?
Yep.
That could. I hope not.
I mean. We talk about it all the time when you get a team down 3-0. You want to jump on them in game 4 because it's like, hey, you're taking a flight after the game. Let's make that flight to vacation instead of that flight to, and if you're the Magic, it's like, cool. So now we have to fly to Detroit and get our heads kicked in by the Pistons. Like, nah, we're good. Like that could be where that goes. So let's see.
Have you guys seen the Jerry West documentary? So it's called The Logo on Amazon Prime. Watched it last night. Now I'm more disappointed he couldn't retire as a Laker. So Keith, I don't know if you saw, but on Lakers Nation, I interviewed Ryan West the other day, and great interview. Really enjoyed it. And I did watch the documentary, and it is fantastic. It is so good. It's so well done. Would definitely recommend anybody go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. Jerry West, The Logo. It is really, really good and gives you a lot of insight, Keith. It's a lot about not just what he did as a player, but a lot of the kind of the internal struggles that he had, and dealing with depression and dealing with all these sorts of things, these inner demons that he was battling over the course of his life, and how complicated of a person he really was in the midst of all of this, sports success and the things that he did as a GM and all of that. So it really is worth your time to go check out if you haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah, it's on my list. I just have not had a chance. I used yesterday's rare, no basketball, and I finished the last couple episodes of The Pit throughout the day yesterday because I'm a big fan of that show, and I wanted to finish it out before it got ruined for me at the, just because you stumble on stuff if you let a TV show sit too long. I had a chance. This was several years ago, but I had a chance pre-pandemic to see Jerry West speak at Summer League.
Oh,
in an event. Really, really impactful to hear him. This is a guy by any measure of anything had a very extremely successful life, right? Was a great Hall of Fame player, no question. I think he gets shorted when we have top 10 player type discussions all the time. I think he is, right up there with that. And obviously, some of the older players are going to get replaced by some of the guys who came after. But I just feel like he just is kind of left out of some of those discussions as a player. Then was an outstanding executive for a number of years with a few different teams. And to hear him talk about how the losses still kill him. He was like, I'll never get over, very specific details about those losses. And then there's a really good book that Jack McCollum wrote that is about the Warriors and Jerry West working for the Warriors, but then it ties in Jerry West's playing career with the Lakers. I thought I had it on my shelf, and now the name is avoiding me. I'll look it up in a second so I can put it out there for people. But it's really good because it weaves the current day Warriors in with the Jerry West Lakers, and they talked, and then he talked about story about how he was driving home from one of the games. His wife would come to the games, and then if they lost and the season was over, she would just go. She would just go home. And he talked about, he's like, I was driving home one day and I'm in my car. And he goes, I briefly considered I am never going to win. And I considered just driving off the edge of the cliff. And it's it was mind blowing to hear that. And it just is, absolutely incredible stuff. He is super, he is just a fascinating guy, and just how that just dug at him. So I'm looking forward to watching that.
The book you're talking about is called Golden Days.
I knew it was I wanted to say it was Golden Dreams or Golden State of Mind or something, but I knew Golden Days. Really good book.
He also wrote the book on the 7 Seconds or Less Suns, which I've read.
And the Dream Team
was great. Yes, and the Dream Team. Great stuff.
Fantastic. He's Jack McCollum's one of the best ever, full stop, writers we've ever had.
All right, let's go to this super chat. Shoot, I just lost it. There it is. Durant gets a 2-game ban for a face smush. Parker. Lion LaMelo. Oh boy. Pulls a full Cobra Kai sweep the leg, Johnny. Well, he did that with an actual trip, though. But LaMelo was with an arm, but gets a slap on the wrist. Weak move by Silver.
Adam Silver doesn't do the suspensions.
Yeah, that's not. I know everything falls under Adam Silver. Everything ultimately rolls up. But
your breakfast, your milk is bad in the morning, and it's like, God damn you, Adam Silver.
God, thanks a lot, Adam Silver. I don't know. I go back and forth on the LaMelo play. I do think that they had to factor in Bam's injury, which they factor in live during games on flagrant fouls. If a player gets legitimately injured, that's one of the things they have to consider in terms of whether or not something is upgraded to a flagrant foul, whether it's a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2. I thought Bam's injury and it being I thought a dirty play by LaMelo. I don't buy the whole I hit my head thing. I think that, and I didn't know where I was. I don't think that was factored in enough. I go back and forth on whether or not he should be suspended for tonight's game. But I did think it was a dirty play, and I guess my question is if it was the NBA considered it to be a flagrant 2 in hindsight, but he didn't lose that game. If it was called a flagrant 2 in the game, then he's out of the game.
Yeah.
Why is it a flagrant 2 and it's retroactive, but he gets to play the next game? He didn't suffer the punishment on the court for committing that foul.
Yeah, at a bare minimum, the flagrant foul point should count if they win tonight into his playoff totals. He does not. He picks up a ton of flagrant fouls, so I don't know that it matters, but they should move on. The play-in exists in this weird netherworld where nothing counts except who wins the games. Yeah, here's where I come down. The basketball fan in me wants to see him available to play because it makes for a better game and all that stuff. But he should have been suspended. Like, that's just, it's not the first time he's tripped Bam alone. Never mind. He's done stuff like this to other guys too. So there should have been history factored in, and he should have been suspended. And, that's just, probably how it should have gone. But it wasn't, it wasn't there. I will say the Durant thing happened. Everybody got what they got there because of past history. Plus, it got very close to the fans, that whole fight that kicked off and got really kind of ugly. So
you don't want to get all malice in the palace or anything like
that. That's part of that there. Which is weird that might be a first round matchup if the Hornets win, or would be the first round matchup if the Hornets win tonight. So,
which team do you see be eliminated in the first round that can make a big shakeup to their roster in the offseason?
Oh, I'm going to cheat the Lakers. Just because we know it's coming, and I think they have a hard time winning. Let's take them out of it, right? Because we know they're going to look different.
Well, yeah, just because they've got so much flexibility this summer and all of that. But okay, so we take them out. So who makes a big shakeup? I think it's more. I think the spirit of the question is more like who loses faith in their roster and says we have to do something dramatic.
Yeah, obviously, if the Cavs or Knicks lose in the first round, they're doing big stuff. I don't think they're going to. So of the teams I think that will lose in the first round, Minnesota, I think, is the team that'll probably start to look at things slightly differently. With that, I think Tim Connolly's are always pretty aggressive of, how do we make our team better? So
yeah, it's essentially like who is going to see their team say, okay, now we thought this team is it. Now we know they're not it. Let's do something significant here. So I do think that the Knicks make a lot of sense as a team that could do that. The Wolves, the Cavs, I think those are probably the best ones to turn to. And if you are, by the way, if you are the Bucks, if you're the Grizzlies, I'm talking about a team that would be maybe selling on Giannis, selling on Ja Morant, selling on whoever, maybe the Clippers with Kawhi. You're kind of hoping that one or two of these teams gets knocked out early and is desperate enough to surrender some significant stuff in order to get you. Now, obviously, Giannis and one of those things is not like the other when we're talking about Kawhi, and even I guess they're all very different. But Giannis, Kawhi, Ja, we've got a wide range of values there in terms of players. So I'm not saying they're all the same, but in terms of the motivation for those teams to go do something drastic to their roster, if you are a team that's looking to sell on a high value player like that, you want some teams out there that are maybe desperate to make some significant changes.
Yep. Yeah. We always talk about it, right? For buyers to buy, there have to be sellers. So, and it does feel a little bit like this could part of it driven by the Lakers are one of the league's premier teams. They've already got Luka in place, so it's not like they're even starting from scratch. When they have flexibility, if things tend to get a little sideways in the league, right? It just big stuff tends to happen. So yeah, but yeah, I think again, a couple people are saying, but the Knicks or the Cavs, Knicks and Cavs 100% if they lost in the first round. If they lose in the second round, they're going to make big changes, but I don't think they're going to lose in the first round. Trying to be true to the question from JJ here. Before we move to the next one, just so we don't forget, we did have another series finalized. So Celtics, 76ers, is now final. We've not picked it on the show. So I am picking Celtics in 5 in that one. I'm assuming no Embiid or Embiid doesn't get back.
And he's already been ruled out for game 1.
Yeah, so I don't think he will be in the mix at any point here. So I just don't think they've got enough to, and I think it's a bad matchup for Philly too. So Celtics in 5 is my pick.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that it was Philly that wound up in that slot, especially without Embiid. I think it's probably Boston in 4. I don't think it's even competitive.
Yeah, I just Maxey is so good.
Maxey
doesn't have a great option for him, so we'll see.
Yeah, Maxey could go nuts. That's for sure. But Embiid is knowing that Embiid is out for at least game 1 and probably more, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence in.
Apple says with Embiid, is it still 5? Probably would have been for me. It's like
with Embiid, I probably would have bumped it to 5 from 4.
Yeah, and so okay. We will, just so everybody knows, I know we're both picking the Thunder and the Pistons, but we'll settle those picks sometime off air. I'll text you when they settle tonight. Well, I'll plug them in the doc and then we'll share them on Monday.
I mean, spoiler alert, it's going to be Thunder in 4. It doesn't matter.
It's the Warriors. I might go Thunder in 5.
Just to give Steph
a nod
Steph
gets
for him to have a nuclear game.
Yeah, the crowd gets rocking and they just kind of go. So yeah.
All right, let me give a quick shout out to our sponsor here for a moment, and that is Prize Picks. You guys can check them out in the link is in the description down below. You guys can check out Prize Picks. Use the code HMA. Here, I'll put this thing up. There we go. Use the code HMA, and if you play $5, you get $50 instantly. Again, link is in the description down below. Real quick, we'll make a few picks here. Kobe White at Orlando. I don't know about that. I'm going to say LaMelo does less than 24 points. Orlando, super switchy defense. I've got some concerns there about LaMelo. And then, let's go. Devin Booker, 27 points. Towns, assists. Ooh, Steph Curry, 27.5 points. Yep, I think Steph's going to come up big tonight against Phoenix. So, $10 entry fee, win you $30. You guys can check out Prize Picks. Use the link in the description down below. Again, that code is HMA. And if you're going to play, please do so responsibly. All right, Keith, we are back. And let's go here. Assuming there's no voiding slash suspension, who do you expect the Kawhi Leonard trade suitors to be this summer? So we've already heard the Warriors, and we know the Warriors were interested at the trade deadline this past year. The other team that popped up recently, though, was Minnesota as being a team that made kind of a late push to go after Kawhi. And I think those two would continue to be suitors unless, they make an improbable run to the finals and they say, we'll just run it back or something. But I think those two. Who else would be in the mix for Kawhi should the Clippers say, okay, we're going to listen to Kawhi trades?
I would assume the Lakers, right? I mean, they were close before. It's an easy move over. Just moving across, probably doesn't have to even move, right? Just moving what facility he's going to every day. 50.3 million.
That's the hard part. It's the salary.
Yeah. It's that. It's also right. He's on an expiring deal. I mean, there's a real world where Kawhi finishes this contract and then just retires, right? Like, I don't know that he's going to do that, but would that shock you if it was like Kawhi retired? Like, he doesn't want to do it anymore. Like, I'd be there. Phoenix feels like they're never really out of it with guys like that. I just don't think Houston? He wants to move off the West Coast. Miami would probably be involved.
Yeah, Miami would be. Miami's the team that's popped up. Houston, I think, would be interesting if they somehow get upset in round 1. But again, do they want to lean into another older wing player?
Yeah. The Kings would probably trade even if they get like the first round pick for him because that's something they would do.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh, Kings.
There were some questions about what's going to happen now. I have talked to some people in the league that feel like, all right, their season's over now. Whatever punishment is coming could come down. It would not surprise me at all if I'm in the car line here in an hour and it's Friday news dump of here's the Kawhi punishment.
Just see Kawhi's comment saying like, "Oh, I think we're in the clear."
Yeah.
Well, I think we got away with it.
We're in the clearing where we plant the trees.
Where we plant the trees. where we don't plant the trees.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I planted more trees during the lifetime of his contract than he has.
Yep.
And I've only planted like 2.
Will Dr. Robbie retire? Will he run it back with the pit next season in a hospital-friendly deal, or is he on a retirement motorcycle tour?
We know he's back because they already announced he's coming back for season 3, so we know he's back. I don't even think he's going on. You have no idea what this means.
No.
The main character, so do you understand the premise of the show? Is like 24, each episode's an hour.
No, I've steered completely clear of it.
Imagine taking ER and 24 and mashing them together. That's an oversimplification, but it's like that, right? Each episode is an hour. Dr. Robbie is the main guy. That's Noah Wiley's character. Mm-hmm. He, at the beginning of the season, he starts off, it's his last day before he's taking a 3-month sabbatical to ride his motorcycle around the country. And so that's like going on in there. Then everybody's like, don't do it. Like, you're doing it for all the wrong reasons and all this stuff. And I think at the end, he had decided, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, okie dokie.
So that's
sounds.
We don't know
because ride your motorcycle around.
Yeah. So, but it's it's a good show, man. A really good show. Really, really good show. If you ever do watch it, I know you're not gonna, but don't binge it. It is not a binge show.
I don't do dramas, and I hate medical stuff.
Yeah.
It's
pretty.
It drives me crazy.
Times.
But that's me. I know a lot of people love. My wife loves that stuff. A lot of people love it, but that is just me. I just can't do it.
I didn't spoil anything. We don't know what's gonna happen. It ended very. Make up your own ending, and we'll find out at the first episode of season 1 what he did.
Let's do this one. If Kawhi's contract with the Clippers gets voided, does he have to pay the money back?
Nope.
No, it's not like retroactively. They can say, okay, you owe us everything that you've gotten on the
future
contract.
money. But
right.
Yeah,
it'll be future money.
Nope.
Lakers without Luka and LeBron would have lost the play-in games. All right, without Luka and Austin, I mean. Maybe.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
I mean, realistically, like, how many wins would they have on the season if they went into the year without Luka and Austin? Like, how good? Where would they be right now? They'd be what, like a 30-something win team, 30 wins, something like
35 maybe. I don't know. And that's assuming LeBron could still. Would he play 60 some odd games?
Played 60. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would he even play that many? Would he be able to hold up playing that many games? So. What?
We'll come right back to the super chat. One, smelly garage fluids. Just makes me laugh. And then is Mikal Bridges' contract a bottom 55 contract in the league? What a arbitrary
bottom
measure.
55.
I don't know.
Hang on, let me break out my list of
exactly.
Bottom 55.
I'd have to really go through the list of things. It's it's not great. So all right, go back to that other super chat.
Okay. It is does the Clippers using cap space, do they lose the ability to use the mid-level exception biannual as well? Yes, if you're a cap space team, you do not have access to the mid-level. What you would get is the room exception, but you would not have access to the mid-level, the taxpayer. You wouldn't have access to those exceptions, or only if they use cap up to a certain point. No, if you're a cap space team, you don't have those other exceptions. You just get the room exception after you've already used your cap space.
A couple people said maybe that guy meant bottom 5, not a bottom 5 contract for Mikal Bridges.
What's the worst contract?
I don't even remember what I put now.
I mean, for a while we would have just automatically said Joel Embiid, but
I had Embiid and Paul George as the top,
and they're both 76, which I think still may be the case. But Embiid has had parts of the season where he played pretty well,
and now he's out again.
And now he's hurt again.
Yeah. That's the only issue with Embiid.
Yeah.
Is there a
availability
taxpayer and non-taxpayer? No, it is extremely hard to use cap space and then be a taxpayer. So the room exception is just the room exception. There are 4 signing exceptions that are related to where you land. You get if you are under the cap, you get the room exception. That's about 9.4 million next year. If you are over the cap, but under the first apron, it's the stupidest name thing in the world because but first apron exception sounds dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But under the first apron, you get the non-taxpayer. That's about 15 million next year. If you're over the first apron, you get the non-taxpayer, and that's like 5-ish million, I think. And then every other year, if you're over the cap, you can use the biannual exception, but you can only use that every other year. So like the Lakers, they're going to be under the cap, which if we go back to a year ago, almost in July, I was like, using the biannual exception this year signals the Lakers plan to be a cap space team next summer because you would lose it if you were under the cap anyway. But if you use it, you won't have it at regardless. So that signaled, hey, we're good using it this year because we know we're not going to have it next year anyway.
Right. So that's where it's at. And that's where teams have to make the decision. For some team, for example, for some teams, if you are $10 million under the cap and you've got to make a decision on whether or not you want to keep someone's cap hold on your books, in terms of spending power, if you've got, let's say, a $15 million cap hold on your books, you might as well just keep that on your books, act as an over the cap team, and then have access to the full mid-level, because that would actually be more spending power than what you would have as a cap space team. So a lot of times it's just making the decision of what the best path is going to be for your team. And it may be staying over the cap if you have a lot of flexibility, which, like Chicago, right? Obviously, they're not going to do anything to change their status as a cap space team. They're going to have a lot of flexibility under the cap to go work with. Yeah,
you also lose any trade exceptions too if you go under the cap.
Correct.
Those all go away as well.
All right, this is an interesting one. We can get into some inside baseball. Oh, I guess we'll do this first. Is Luka extension eligible next year?
No, because he just extended last summer. So.
Okay, so advanced meerkat Hakuna Matata said best advice for someone starting a podcast / YouTube show with my buddy, best software or application to talk. Love the show, guys. Well, first of all, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully we can give you a little bit of advice without going.
We're going to end with this one because you got to get out of here.
Right. But we could turn this into a full show. Yeah. Like this could be, I could talk for an hour about all of this stuff.
Yeah. Come back and ask this question in an August show. And we'll give
yes. And we can go certainly in depth. In terms of the tech side of things, how do I do this without going too far in depth? Depending on how much you want to spend on your setup, you could spend very little and make it sound fairly good, make it look fairly good, or you could spend a lot. You could spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in making your setup look great and sound great. Lighting is very, very important. Don't overlook how important lighting is. You can make a very good camera look terrible with bad lighting. You can make a just okay camera look very good with good lighting. In terms of sound quality and recording programs, what we use is something called StreamYard, which is very popular and very, very user-friendly, very easy to use, but a lot of other people will use something called OBS. That's another platform. There are some other ones out there as well. What is the one?
What's the River one?
Yes. Yeah.
Riverside.
Riverside's another one that a lot of people use, but a lot of different options out there. Those are web-based that make it pretty easy to stream and to record your shows. So those are some very quick and simple tips as far as using it. Also, just make sure you have a good space to use to record in. Like, you don't want to record someplace that's full of tile floors because you're going to get a lot of echo. The sound quality is not going to be great. But a lot of it is going to be trial and error. And there's a ton of tutorials out there. There's a lot of things that can help you out with all of this stuff because a lot of people have gone through it. But there's a lot of information out there on YouTube, a lot of different places that can help give you pointers and tips and all that kind of stuff. So there's just some quick thoughts on it.
I outside of the technical side of it, just know it's probably going to be bad when you start.
Yes.
Like, and don't get frustrated. It takes a long time to build reps and rhythm. And if it's you and your buddy, try as best you can to have a natural conversation with the way you talk about stuff. The way, imagine you're starting this because the two of you like talking. Well, I guess he didn't say it's sports, but you like talking whatever topic you're going to cover with it. I like, for me, it helps. Like, if one of you takes charge with the, like, I'm going to do the uploading stuff, like, and all that, like, and that just was naturally how it fell with us because you're already doing that stuff and know how to do it. So, but yeah, I just try to like stick with it if it's not going exactly the way you want it to, right off the jump, because it's going to take a little while for you to find your rhythm with it.
100%. It takes time.
Yeah, and I would say it's have fun with it too, right? It's the podcasts I find myself enjoying most are the ones where it is I'm getting something out of it, whether it is informational or I'm getting like just enjoyment,
entertainment,
because they have a lot of fun. Like, one of my most favorite podcasts is two tied in on the Ringer. Like, I love House of R and I love the Midnight Boys on the Ringer, because they just have a lot of fun. Like, they just have a lot of fun while they're doing their shows, and they're all pop culture nerd stuff that I like. So, but it just helps that they're having a ton of fun with it. So yeah, and then it's either, if you're going to do one thing, go super deep into that one thing and give something that nobody else is going to offer on that one thing, or bounce around to different topics, because listen to somebody talk about one thing is tough.
Yeah. And the mic does make a huge difference. You guys sound different from your old days, for sure. The mic does.
Yeah. And part of that is we've both like grown in our careers. We have gotten better equipment.
We've had more. Over time, we've added to what we use to produce the show. What did the Magic do after losing? Got to trade someone. That could be a whole show
today. Yeah. Let's see what happens today. If they get in the playoffs, then let's see where that goes. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a new coach in Orlando. But barring they get in and they somehow beat the Pistons, I don't think that's going to happen. And then RIP to Garrett Anderson, former Angel, the Anaheim Angel. I think most of his career passed away today, unexpectedly. Yeah. Only 53.
Man,
scary. All the best to him and his family, and that. But yeah, but we won't end on that. But yeah, it's the mic thing is huge on the podcast thing.
For sure.
Now, I'm not even a sound guy. Like, that. I'm not even a big sound guy. And if it sounds like crap, I just I can't do it. So
yeah, it's a tricky thing. And again, I could tell horror stories of times where the audio didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, and all kinds of trial and error and things like that. But I think
just know you're gonna make really stupid mistakes, like for getting to hit record and having an hour-long conversation and a really good show, and then being like noticing with just after you go to stop it that you never started the recording. Like, we've both done that, and
I have lost entire episodes of interviews with NBA players that are just lost now and gone because of mistakes and things that were made. So
I had last Friday, it was picking up the wrong mic, and I didn't know, and I thought my mute button was broken, and it isn't, because look.
There, and now the mute button works.
Here it goes.
Now that you're on the right
mic. I'm sitting here clearing my throat.
Tells you your onboard mic was really good, because even I didn't notice.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know the onboard mic was so good. I don't even know where it is, because my laptop's not.
They're getting better and better, man, all the time.
But there we go. All right, guys, let you get out of here so you can get off to your next thing. Guys, enjoy the playoffs. It's 2 really fun special days. The first 2 days, you get up. If you're on the West Coast, you wake up, roll out of bed, grab your cereal, and you're set for the rest of the day.
Let's go.
On the East Coast, you get a little bit done in the morning, but get on that couch by 1 o'clock each day and be ready for hoops the rest of the day.
Gonna be a good time. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Till next time. See ya and stay safe.